Yes, welcome to the Weege Show. You like the way I decorated the place? It's not ours, it's our Houston house, our Airbnb rental. Not the one with the killer garage, that's Podcast Central. Hang on, let me just clean up a little bit. Steve Mathis, how's the coffee situation?
It's shitty so far.
Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. So, you know, the three of us have to live together, me, Mathis, and JT. It's gone really terribly.
What?
Yeah, it's gone terribly.
It's gone really well.
Well, no, Mathis is in your head, and you're being too nice and too accommodating.
Too nice.
Yeah, he said you were mysterious, and now you've turned the other way. So here's our coffee situation. We got this K-cup thing, which absolutely befuddles me. Power's on. It has water. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. I feel like I'm Roger DeCoster in the back of the KTM shop, like trying to whittle away and make everything perfect, because it's like the way you have to hit these buttons, you have to be so precise. Anyway, here's the coffee situation, so I'm very upset. We got this K thing. I'm like, oh, I'll contribute to the pile. I'll get some K cups. So to make sure I'm within the window, to make sure everybody's comfortable with the settings, I got Starbucks brand. Everybody likes Starbucks. This guy goes to Starbucks every single morning on the way to the racetrack. And I got French roast, which to me sounds like the highest end they've got. And then all I do is get grief, because apparently, Mathis, you can go to Starbucks, but you can't actually drink Starbucks coffee. I don't understand.
I like lattes. I don't
Yeah.
like Starbucks coffee. I do not like their coffee, and I definitely do not like French roast style of coffee.
Okay, so that's my contribution was not appreciated. And what it reminds me of is that you have brands, but then you have flavors, and you have small settings within those that apparently make all the difference. And FYI, everybody apparently knows that Donut Shop is the best coffee. And what's that got to do with Monster Energy Supercross? Let's get into it here with the Weege Show, brought to you by Honda and their Talon Sport Side-by-Side. Mathis, you're rich now. You ever think of getting a side-by-side?
No.
Are you familiar with four-wheeled Honda products?
Yes.
Yes.
Ridgelines.
Right, Ridgeline's great.
Yep.
So if you were going to buy a side-by-side, I mean, you got to figure that a Honda would probably do an awesome job.
Blue Crew.
Oh, jeez, you're brutal.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow, okay, you're brutal. Is that the official side-by-side of Pulpamex?
Yep.
Okay, well, if you had a Yamaha, you'd have a CVT transmission, but if you had the Honda, you'd have a real dual-clutch 6-speed tranny. I think that's more fun to have real gears and paddle shifters, so it's cool. And you got gobs of suspension travel on the R model, which is wider, designed for running whoops in the desert. We sent our weirdo editor, Aaron Hansel, to a media intro on this machine about a year ago, and with the Honda Talon, they said, go faster in the whoops, it can handle it. And there's also an X model that's a little bit narrower, still has good suspension travel, but it'll get you through the tight trails. Find out how life is better side by side with the Honda Talon, not with us here in the apartment. I had to borrow your charger cable, is that okay?
No, this is terrible. You guys are the worst roommates ever.
Okay, so like I said, we're having friction here. Life is not better side by side with us. But remember when I mentioned about the coffee, the flavors? Don't let the brand be your judgment. And my proof is the new and improved Aaron Plessinger. He said he was going to be a whole new rider this year, switching from the old factory Yamaha Monster Energy team to the new Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha team. And Bobby Weigandt said, quote, "You're looking at an all-new Aaron Plessinger this year, boy." Well, we didn't see it in practice. He was struggling big time, and we may or may not have seen from a social distance Will Hahn, who works for the Star team, saying, Aaron will be, yeah, I'm vlogging right now, vlogging of a vlog. Aaron, this allows me to write off the coffee at least. He said Aaron will be fine in the races. He said, don't worry about practice. Well, we saw it in the heat race, because here's what started to happen. Aaron Plessinger, oh, you're going to handle that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it. It works.
Okay, yep. Plessinger started closing the gap on Cooper Webb, and this was significant for many, many reasons. Not just the fact that Webb's like a title contender and a former champion of the series, but also, this seems like 10 years ago, but there was a real time when the industry was having a coin flip over who had the most potential, Cooper Webb or Aaron Plessinger. Webb had dominated in the 250 class for Star Racing Yamaha, got a big Yamaha contract, didn't go well 2 years later. Plessinger dominated the 250 class for Star Yamaha, got a big Yamaha contract. And now look, now 2 years into his 450 career, Plessinger was in the same spot Webb was 2 years into his. 2 years of injuries and disappointment, and it wasn't going well. And meanwhile, Webb switched to another brand and skyrocketed all the way back to the top of the sport with the 2019 Supercross Championship. But yes, there was a time when Webb's 450 stock was down and Plessinger's 250 stock was going up, where a lot of teams didn't know Who was the better guy? Who had the most potential? Who was the one more worthy of the big paycheck? Interesting, right? Well, here was Plessinger closing in on Webb. What was it like for you in that heat race, Aaron?
When I was behind him, just chilling there for a minute, I was good and I was cool and calm. But when I started closing in on him, I was like, okay, I could actually do this. And then I think it kind of just, I don't know, it overpowered my my riding skills, and I kind of just went in and tried to make the pass, didn't make it stick, and then I started making mistakes. So I think, yeah, I got a little excited, tried to push the issue, and then, started falling apart after that. But now that I know I can run up there, I think it'll be a lot better.
Now, it wasn't quite the normal level of riding from Cooper Webb that we've seen in the past. More on that in a minute. But it was still an encouraging sign that Plessinger could be better. Same brand, new flavor, now that it's the Star Racing team. And shout out to his teammates. If you're Malcolm Stewart, 5th in round 1, that's a fantastic opener. 5th is good. It looked at one point, maybe you were closing on him a little bit. Maybe you weren't too far back from Marv. But are you just happy to just get what you get in the opener, even if a podium might have been in play?
Yeah, I mean, like what Adam was saying, I mean, the track started to go away pretty fast. And I felt like the harder you push is almost like the more time you lost. The whoops got pretty gnarly, honestly, even though we were jumping through them. But I'm not going to lie to you, I was probably one of the hardest jumping whoops I had hit. And just when you try to push harder to catch somebody, it's like, again, you start making more mistakes, and the rhythm lane, just everything, even though everything's changing, a simple rhythm can be just so tough, So to me, Adam was there. He was dangling a carrot in front of me, but honestly, I felt like that actually just kept me more in the race instead of worrying about what was behind me. It was just worried about what was in front of me. And again, we cruised across the checker flag in 5th. There's nothing to hang my head low over. Again, I think it's a great season opener for me.
And I think Dylan Ferrandis finishing 7th was actually better than expected. He had not ridden the bike much since he had a hand injury, and he had to deal with what all rookies deal with at round 1, which is being starstruck.
Get the mindset of knowing that I need to race this guy now and not just watching them. So it took me some laps, some session, and yeah, in the main event that was pretty crazy because I was battling with Webb and Anderson. So was mentally really hard for that first race to just accept that I'm there with this guy and I need to fight with him and to race them now, and was pretty difficult, but yeah, I kind of know it now, and I'm glad this first one is over. A
5.78 for that new Monster Star Yamaha team. I think they'd take that all day. The bikes look good. The riders were solid. They have every reason to go into today's race on Tuesday and think, man, I got this. I can be good. I can be on the podium. Maybe I can win eventually. I think for Ferrandis, for example, it's a work in progress, but that is encouraging, and it just shows same brand, different flavor makes all the difference. It's just those little tweaks. And speaking of that, I asked every single rider and every single team in the preseason, will you find a Supercross track in Texas to test after round 1 or 2? And everybody said, no, don't need it. Our bike's great. We're in the window. We're super comfortable. Why would we need to change anything? Most of the riders said, we didn't even make a big change to our bike this year. The previous model is the same. Okay. Eli Tomac had essentially the same model Kawasaki from 2019 to 2020, and he struggled big time at the opener in Anaheim 1 last year and had to go to the test track and get it figured out. And he was much better at rounds 2 and 3. So I don't care if these guys say I'm on the same model bike. They always have problems at round 1, and they always have to go back to the test track and fix it. And if you're Tomac now, it wasn't great, and then some crashes and going down and getting and then running Vince Friese off the track didn't help. 13th. Probably not too stoked right now. And Webb, that was the worst, I think, KTM era Webb Supercross ride we've seen. He would have finished 10th. He started 10th, didn't move up. Only reason he got 9th is because it was even worse for Jason Anderson, who was 8th, and then put on an epic fade late in the race. He said in the team press release it was arm pump. You better hope so, because arm pump can go away. If it's a different problem, it's going to be bad, because the last 5 minutes of the race for Anderson were not pretty. You probably didn't see it on TV, but from the press box, he was rolling through the whoops, and 7 guys went by him in about 5 minutes. It was not good. So there's a couple of guys who are established players on their same old model bikes, and it's just little things or something that was wrong. So you can't judge the brand, you got to judge the flavor. Unless it's Donut Shop, and I guess Donut Shop's super dialed.
Yeah, everybody knows donut shops.
Everyone knows. Many people are saying.
Many people.
So we'll go into round 2 without the typical, let's see who changed what after round 1, because there really wasn't time and no one really had tracks to go to. I think KTM is going to go to a track later in the week between rounds 2 and 3. We'll see if they can change some things. Obviously, he was good on the Gas branded KTM for Barcia, and Marvin Musquin was great in 3rd, but some others definitely looking for redemption today, including me, because I might just be headed to the grocery store to apparently get Donut Shop K-Cups, because I want our life to be better side by side here in our house, and it's been pretty terrible so far. Where are you going?
Starbucks.